You're very welcome along to a very special polling station. This is going to take 5, max 6 minutes. Will, as you can see, is outside Westminster, surrounded by a gaggle of massive fans who have been watching Star Sports, getting the latest odds on who will be leader of the Conservative Party after the end of Bojo. We're going to go through the 8 candidates one by one. It'll be either Neil, it'll be Paul, or it'll be William, who will go through each candidate one by one. And at the end, we will talk about the 7-4 favourite Rishi Sunak, all 3 of the lads. Let's get straight into it, starting with Nadeem Zahawi, 66 to 1, Paul.
Yeah, so Nadeem Zahawi was seen as a dark horse at the start of the race, a potential unity candidate, safe pair of hands. He's been hit by scandal and his campaign got off very, very late. And it appears that there's an enormous amount of work to do, hence the odds. But he's not out of it if he could just survive a round or two.
66 to 1, not out of it. Over to you, Neil, on Suella Braverman, who is a 50 to 1 chance.
Well, Steve Baker of the European Campaign Group threw his support to Suella Braverman, and it was felt like she would be the official right-wing headbanger candidate. But now they've found themselves a new girl in this Kemi Badenoch. So we have to feel that Braverman is not really going to last very long. She could be the first one out, and her votes will probably be swinging over to Kemi. No chance.
Braver man than me if you're back in the 50 to 1. Over to William. We've another 50 to 1 chance here. The great Jeremy Hunt, William, outside Westminster.
Indeed. So Jeremy Hunt finished second in this last time, had been eyeing up her own for quite a while, looked to have been out-competed a bit, I think, by Tom Tugendhat for the one Tory vote.
And that looks like a very nice boozer behind you there, the Red Lion. Over to you, Paul. 16 to 1, the aforementioned Tugendhat.
Probably not the worst outsider in the world. As much as it looks between the top 3, Tugendhat's probably the one candidate who has the ability to challenge for a top 3 place. And he could potentially benefit from some tactical manoeuvres if Sunak supporters wanted to stop a better place rival getting into the final.
Yeah, so maybe not this election, but if possible, a future leader of the Conservatives. Tugendhat is 16 to 1, as I mentioned. Over to you, Will, again, and on a 12 to 1 chance here, and this is 12 to 1 chance. Kemi Badenoch.
Known as a culture warrior, has pushed on that in this campaign, got the endorsement of Michael Gove, has to be respected in betting terms. You wonder if some people might say she's possibly too experienced, like the cabinet member after this, I think.
It could only be for Liz Truss, Neil, you, because, I mean, this is exactly your type of politician, person, and all-round great human being, really.
Well, it is. I mean, towards the front of the market, we do have the battle of the reconstructed Thatcherites, don't we? And, you know, this woman has been, well, she's a political chameleon. I mean, she started off as a Lib Dem, she voted Remain, now she's a hard Brexiteer. I think in betting terms, she might be the worst bet on the card at the moment. She's quite a short price. I personally think there should be a much bigger gap between the price of her and the price of the 2 favourites. I don't think she's going to be in the last 2. I think she might not even come third.
Fantastic stuff from the lads so far. Fantastic stuff from Paul when he tipped up Penny Mordaunt at 14 to 1 for polling station viewers and listeners many moons ago. Paul, you have not lost the faith, even though she's now a 2 to 1 chance.
Not at all. She's just edged into favourite on Betfair, just below 2 to 1. I'm very confident. The polls in Conservative Home today have her in a potential head-to-head against Sunak, winning 58-31, so an overwhelming victory. And at the moment, that looks very much the likeliest outcome. I think she's got all the right criteria to be a Tory leader. Brexiteer, but not too associated with Johnson. Good performer on the media. And a young, strong woman is exactly what they need to rebrand.
We'll stay with you for the 7-4 favourite Sunak, who's just about all non-favouritism now, having been heavily backed over the last few days. Staying with you, Paul.
Sunak has an amazing machine. He seems to have inherited the same machine and all the dirty tricks that came with Boris Johnson. He's got a large number of MPs already signed up, probably a lot more in reserve. I think it's very hard to keep him at the final 2. I don't think the members will vote for him. That's what the polls clearly suggest. He's a tax riser, and that's, you know, a disqualifier for many Tory voters.
7-4, Neil Channing, yes or no?
I don't think I'd back him at 7-4. I would make a few quick points, though. I mean, obviously, Paul's right. He has put taxes up. Everyone else has talked about cutting tax in this campaign, and he sort of said you have to be real. He did dish out a lot of money and put taxes up because of COVID. But I think in his heart, he's a Thatcherite. The one thing I would say though is I thought it was quite interesting. Somebody said you can't take too much notice of these Conservative home polls because a lot of the Tory membership are not very internet savvy and they don't spend a lot of time online. What they needed was a bit of broadband communism. That's obviously what they needed. Free internet for these Tory members. But they didn't get that. There was a Salvation poll among the members, which is a more old-fashioned way of polling them, that had it a lot closer in the head-to-heads. But I guess, I think Paul's probably right. I think Rishi Sunak has enough MPs in his pocket that he can almost get to a stage where he decides who he wants to play in the heads up. And that could make it interesting.
Finally, over to you, William Kedjanyi. Outside of Westminster, what are your thoughts on the 7-4 favourite in this election?
I think Rishi Sunak has a big chance. I think he's almost guaranteed to make the last two. We're 8-1 on in that market. I find it hard to poke holes in him. It's just that I think the market is presuming a better level of performance amongst the members in a vote than the polls are telling us. Admittedly, there's a difference between the likes of opinion and the weighted polls where he's leading, but there's lots of don't knows, easily enough to be influenced during a contest. And the Con Home surveys, which are unweighted, but are speaking directly to the heart of the party. So he's a big runner, but I don't think he's unbeatable.
Bullet to the head, who would you have a bet on now?
Penny Mordaunt.
Neil.
At the current prices, if I was forced to have a bet, it could only be Penny Mordaunt.
Paul.
Penny Mordaunt.
Penny, for your thoughts. That was the Star Sports quickfire election special. 5 or 6 minutes. Hopefully we stuck to that. Check out the website for all the latest prices. Talk to you soon.